opening that door was like me coming over and trying to help you move some furniture in your house. It's like one guy got on one side of the door, the other guy, he's like, one.
You got to pivot.
1, 2. Hey, hold on. Are you even holding your end? Greg, are you even holding your end? Are you holding
pivot on 3.
Are you going to pivot or are you going to pivot left or right? Clockwise?
Just follow my lead and pivot.
Wait, hold on. Let me move my hands.
Don't scratch my wall.
Let me move my hands. Are you holding it from the top or the bottom?
Why did you drop it? Hello, and thanks for joining us for another episode of the What a Disaster podcast, where we watch and review a disaster movie, and we also discuss it. That's usually in my paragraph here, but Richard has chosen to change up my notes.
I remove one word every week to see if you'll notice.
He notices every time, Richard. Oh. I see all. So we watch and review and discuss movies. Yeah, as close to weekly as we could possibly stomach, which has been an awful lot lately. It's
been doing a really good job, guys.
We've been pretty on it.
Our stomachs are doing all right.
We're what? We've recorded 10 episodes?
Yeah,
how many have we launched?
13.
How many have we released?
11.
We've released 11? Anyway, I'm Gregory, your usual yelly guy, and I've got the Richard.
I'm your usual other guy.
And the Liz.
The shrill giggler.
The shrill giggler. That's what she's in my phone as the shrill giggler.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah. I don't have her cell phone number or anything. I just put her in there as the shrill giggler in case I ever have her phone number.
That's a lot nicer when I have her in my phone.
Oh, I'm sure it is. Yeah, I've seen what you put your girlfriends in the phones as.
I don't respect women. That's the joke.
So this week we do not have a guest, which is fine.
We're not lonely.
I didn't want anybody to come over anyway.
Yeah. No, we don't ask every week if anybody wants to be on the show.
Hey,
and
guys,
we don't just wait for people to call us on our phone number that we give out every week.
We give the phone number.
Yeah.
Nobody calls.
No calls.
We've gotten some text messages. They were from Brian.
One time somebody retweeted one of our texts. It was also Brian. We made every horror movie on Netflix mad at us. That was pretty fun.
I actually recorded an episode.
Yeah,
Sunday with them. We did Don't Kill It.
I'm excited to hear that episode. We need to have we should do all 6 of us together in one.
Oh, that would
be
podcast.
Megacast.
A megacast. It would the episode where this Don't Kill It one, we were surly. Man, Good. Me and Patrick
Get those
and
guys
Steven,
all worked up.
We were poor Chris was he was so alone that day because we were just steamrolling it. Poor Chris.
That's what you did this weekend.
Yeah.
Huh?
So I brought some scotch over. We drank a little scotch and got surly. Then we had some beer and got surlier. Actually, I only had one beer and maybe a double as far as scotch is concerned, and it did the job. Of course, it was like a 9.8% beer. So we were doing well. We were extraordinary. Did you guys do anything fun?
Exceptional.
Did you guys do anything fun this weekend?
Shot some photos with the camera you let me borrow, Greg, and it was awesome.
I'm glad it was good. I don't have time to just get out and go play, and I'm glad somebody else has taken it out for a spin.
I appreciate it.
Mm-hmm, of course.
We had a good time together.
Good.
We went to a protest. We protested.
Did you protest people coming to the United States illegally?
Yeah, we don't like them here.
Yeah. Anytime somebody comes to the United States because their home country is either a shithole or they're in danger, you know what? Put them in a cage.
Yeah, that's what I wanted. Basically we went pro cage.
Pro cage.
Yeah, pro cage.
I saw your signs. It was basically put picket signs in cages, and you had a little fake fence around your picket signs. It was pretty
baby
great.
In handcuffs.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So yeah, we're not a big fan of putting people in cages and stuff. So I don't know. I hope that's not too political for some people, but
it's too political.
That's what we did this weekend.
Because treating people like humans has somehow become a political agenda.
Right. And that's how we felt. So that's what we did.
You guys, this is probably not going to make it in the podcast, but it would be cool.
It all makes it in.
We can put whatever we want. It's our podcast. Who edits it? Richard. Yeah. Richard does the edits.
And I am susceptible to peer
You
pressure.
put this in there, or you're dead.
What do you got, Liz?
I was reading today about a startup company called Genesee in Flint that picks up all the water bottles that are, I don't know if they get them from the recycling center or if they just pick them up off the streets, but they recycle the water bottles from the, that are donated to Flint, and they turn them into sunglasses.
Mm-hmm.
And they're kind of expensive, but what a cool project.
Yeah.
They're made in Flint. They're made out of the bottles. They're recycled plastic. They're really cool.
That's pretty neat.
So
cool.
we can only put this off for so long. Greg.
All right, we do have to talk about the movie. This and I know we haven't gotten there yet. There's not much to say about the intro because there's not a lot of information about this movie. So the movie's called Ravager. It was a movie made in 1997. I don't know if this was like made for TV or what. Literally can find nothing about it.
No, there's a Wikipedia. It doesn't explain much about the movie. It's just basic plot dump in the cast. That's all I could find.
Liz picked this. I don't. Where did you find this?
Just on the Wikipedia list of disaster movies, because I was reading through plot lines and this had so many different things going on that I was like, that checks a lot of boxes. Let's do that one.
How many movies did you look at before you settled on Ravager?
I think like 7 or 8.
Wow.
Yeah, she sent us like 5.
Yeah,
And she was like, you know what?
sent
I'm
a
just picking
few.
this weird one.
You know what? It has a bunch of people I'd never heard of, and it exists.
I liked it better than USS Indianapolis. We'll put that out there right now.
I've got to say, if you're gonna try and watch this one with us, you're gonna have a hard time finding
luck.
this. It's like there's you can find it on eBay. It's a Region 2 DVD, and it'll cost you like $15 to get it shipped here because it's in Europe for sure.
Check some garage sales. You might find it in like a VHS.
I don't
someplace.
know, man.
Seems rare.
This
There's
ese
no
is
information about
It's a special gem.
It's
It
an
really is.
enigma
It's
wrapped in mystery.
It's a bit of a diamond in the rough, I would say. I'm not gonna, without going too far down what I thought of it. It was much more watchable than I expected it to be.
Yeah. I thought so too. I mean, it had problems, but
Oh
the
yeah,
best
it had
it
problems
could.
without it. I mean, every movie has problems. This one had more than.
We'll talk about
more
what
than usual,
we
but-
always give compliments even to the bad movies.
Right.
It was a cautionary tale about what happens when you handle biohazardous material without proper protective gear.
every single time.
Yeah, you know what? I work in buildings where chemical protection is necessary, either in labs or and after watching this, I kind of want to go in without and see if maybe I can get some crazy superpower that makes me a murdering rampage guy,
Yeah, I know, like
a Ravager.
but it's a sweaty, bleeding zombie.
Yeah, sweaty, bleeding zombie. Exactly.
Yeah. What's not to like about that? It's like going on a coke binge. You just go on a coke binge.
I've never done coke, but I mean,
Maybe
sure.
bath salts.
I've never
Yeah.
done bath salts either. You guys have much more life experience than I do.
I have never done bath
That sounds
salts.
like you have. Yeah.
Don't judge a man.
I'm not. Hey,
because
I'm not here to judge.
Well, consider this your cautionary tale against bath salts.
Don't fuck with the bath salters.
I love bath thoughts.
Bad
thoughts.
I can tell.
Or give me the bath thoughts.
I love thoughts. Thoughts are so good.
Bath thoughts are wearing
Maybe
off.
my mouth will work with my thoughts. That'd be greater.
Wasn't there a movie we were talking
What
about?
shots?
Yeah, we're talking about Ravager, man. Like, so do we want to go into the intro and then
I
we'll
want
go
to
to
talk
a
a little
break,
bit
right?
about how, like, usually I do a bunch of research on these movies. It's one of my favorite parts is figuring out what weird things happened on set.
So
what
many weird
facts.
things had to have happened.
Yeah, but none of it is divulged to us.
You'll
Just-
never know anything about it.
There's no Rotten Tomato score. It's on Rotten Tomatoes. There's
But
no
it
score.
doesn't have a score.
No, there's no budget. I had no idea. I was gonna guess 3 million from
You think 3 million? That might be a little high.
Those that CG,
But it was the 90s.
97?
It
The
was
sets?
97. I don't think so.
maybe $1 million. Let's just say that it cost some money.
It
wasn't
definitely
free.
cost them dollars
It wasn't
of some
free.
sort. That's the different. That's
I think
Ravagers.
it was like a sci-fi movie, or like a sci-fi channel movie.
That's kind of what I was thinking, but like it doesn't say
Doesn't
that
say?
anywhere.
Yeah, and it would.
The director was like a co-director on Jurassic World, the third Jurassic Park, though.
Lost Jurassic Park, Lost World.
Lost World, yeah, Jurassic
Yeah.
Park,
Don't
Lost
say
World.
Jurassic World. That's a different movie.
Yeah, he wasn't the co-director on the.
Not that movie's much better than Jurassic Park 3, The Lost World, but
But
it
Jurassic 3: The
definitely-
Lost World is critically not very well respected.
it's not well respected by me either. But neither is Jurassic World. So
Yeah,
we'll leave that.
Fair enough.
We'll leave that there.
So that's all I got. This movie, we don't have a lot to talk
It
about as far
exists,
as its
and you can buy a
context.
DVD that's European in region setting, and that's about it.
And honestly, we're doing a service to everybody out there because you're not going to be able to watch this movie. We watch it for you. We condense it down to probably what's going to be a 45, 50-minute episode.
A grain of rice
You're better off.
comparison.
You're better off that way.
I went into this movie really wanting to love it. I want you guys to know that right now.
Well, good.
I was so excited for this movie. So Ravagers was directed by James D. Dick, and that's pretty much his only directorial work of note. You said he was maybe in a co-director of Jurassic World?
Yeah.
Jurassic Park 3 Lost World.
Yes.
Okay.
yeah. I looked it up. I tried to follow their careers around a little bit. And that's the only thing I could really find.
So then we've got a couple other. We'll just give you the rundown of the basic group. Sarah is Juliet Landau. Yancey Butler plays Avedon Hammond, and Bruce Payne plays Cooper Wayne, who everybody just calls Coop throughout the movie.
Yeah, Juliet Landau. I recognize her. I couldn't remember where I recognized her from. She was in Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
The movie or the
show.
TV show?
Okay. She was like a recurring character for a whole year.
Oh, was she?
Yeah.
Okay.
So anybody who
I never watched Buffy.
She like took care of Spike I love that show. She took care of Spike in the catacombs or whatever. So that's where I recognize her from, and she does look like a creepy little vampire.
Spike is the blonde-haired guy?
Yeah, he's the Billy Idol guy.
They made a TV show with him, right?
No, they made him one for Angel, which was really bad.
Was Spike
in
Spike
a lot,
was
yeah.
Angel? Who cares? That's not what we're here to talk about. We're here to talk about Ravager, the film from 1997 that is presumably a direct-to-TV movie for the Sci-Fi Channel.
There was another movie from the 70s called Ravagers.
Yeah,
but it seemed to have
1979.
a totally different plot line, so maybe
Also a
expect to see that
disaster
in the
movie, though,
future.
so
Yeah.
it may end up being an eventual watch for this if somebody wants to hate us.
And Dr. Shepard, he's played by Robin Sachs. He actually does a lot of TV. He actually has a pretty
a
good...
lot of the actors do a bunch of voice work or TV work, other TV shows.
Oh yeah, Juliet Landau. She was the voice of the little sisters in BioShock.
Yeah,
which is cool. That's pretty cool. I love that game.
There were a lot of video game actors and some people on like
Mass Effect was
kids TV shows and stuff.
Yeah, so yeah, they're not these people work. All of them except for Cooper. Cooper doesn't work. That guy was terrible.
You know what? I liked him.
You liked him?
I liked Coop.
Oh man,
I was like, this accent is amazing. All right, well, we will talk more about that after this break. Obviously, you came here knowing that we're going to talk about Ravager, and things are going to get as weird as this movie could let us get.
Things will get a little weird.
Things will get a little weird.
You're late.
There was a problem with flight operations. Son of a buck.
I told him not to tell you.
You did what?
Well, if you knew it was me, you wouldn't have taken the flight.
You got that right.
I don't see what the problem is.
Of course you wouldn't, Coop. This was supposed to be my ship.
When we get back, it will be. I get the new one, and this piece of junk is yours. Look, Av, come on. It's an easy run. We taxi the passengers, pick up the cargo. We'll be back in a couple of days.
Passengers?
Yeah. You know, IPT. Anything for a buck. They didn't want us to fly out empty.
What's going on here, Cooper?
Nothing.
You're stupid.
I know.
You're stupid.
I know.
You're stupid.
I know.
You're stupid.
I know.
Anyway, we're back. We're watching Ravager from 1997. It's a movie that Liz picked for us. We don't regret it.
Not at
now
all.
you have to hear all about it. So opening hey, we get our first helicopter like
immediately
right away. It's like within 30 seconds of the movie starting. Helicopter.
Do we count that first intro part though? Because that was pretty bad.
But yeah, no, that intro, that weird
bad.
shutter effect, it was rough.
Yeah.
I couldn't watch it.
I was watching on my phone. I was like, oh God, is my phone breaking? And because it just kept happening.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if I was watching the right thing. And I was
like a bad cam version of the right thing.
Right.
I got really worried that it was going to be that way through the whole movie. I'm going to throw up.
I had concerns. I didn't know if it was the movie or my phone.
Pre-Cloverfield.
If it was a technology problem or what.
And it was 5 minutes too. It wasn't a short period of time.
It was too long.
But we do get our first helicopter, even though it is CG. And so
is the helicopter CG?
Yep, the helicopter and the trucks are CG.
I didn't look hard enough at it. I just saw that it was a helicopter and I was super stoked that it happened so quickly.
I'm pretty sure they're CG. I know the background was in the environment they were driving in was CG.
Okay.
So yeah, it was fine. It was an interesting.
For 1997, I would say that the CG is actually pretty good.
Yeah,
all things considered, for what appears to be some sort of weird made-for-TV movie. James D. Deck, if you're listening, give us. I want to know about this movie.
Yeah, please. Any information you have? What was it like on set?
Right. Give us something.
Did anything
give me something
happen?
Yeah. I want to know if something strange. Did somebody actually turn into was this a documentary?
Maybe it was a documentary.
Ooh. Sent from the future. Thank you, James D. Deck, for preventing this situation.
So we started this movie, but then this just got lost.
Yeah, that weird shutter effect though.
Yeah,
it's way too long.
Yeah, there was like a weird shutter effect, and what was happening was a bunch of people in hazmat suits were putting some biohazard containers on the walls.
They had the biohazard label.
Yeah,
and then they were labeled as Ravager.
But it took a long time to figure that out because the shutter effect made it impossible to tell what was going on.
It was challenging.
Yeah, and usually this is where in some of our other movies we would get our first death to show how dangerous the chemicals are. But in this movie, if you're wearing protective gear, you survive.
They were
You're
very
fine.
safe.
Yeah.
They followed their OSHA and hazmat regulations and took care of business.
Protocol was right.
Unlike the main characters.
Unlike everybody else.
So I want you to think about Jurassic Park.
Mm-hmm.
If that was a container of Ravager in the Jurassic Park cage, it would have eaten somebody.
Yeah, they all would have died in there. And then when that guy fell through later on in the movie, he would have fallen through in some bones.
Bones. So many bones. It would have been a pile of bones that softened his landing.
But not this movie. This movie...
They were all safe, secure, left. They did their thing and got out of there. And that was supposed to be what, 2004, right?
2003, 2004.
Yeah, somewhere in there. They're loading all these tankaroonies.
Yeah, they leave.
So you don't learn a whole lot about the movie, just that there's stuff that's a biohazard and it's called Ravager and the military is involved. And there's a helicopter, which is of critical import.
We assume it's military because there's a helicopter and some...
Yes, a helicopter pretty much instantly means military.
Yeah, and then we go forward in 30 years.
30 years into the future, we're in the western section, USA. So that's when we meet Avedon, we meet Cooper. Avedon is supposed to be piloting this ship, and there's some, the characters are introduced together, Avedon and Cooper. She calls him Coop, and she is none too pleased to see him, right?
No. Avedon she earned the captain spot on the Live Strong, and that's what the boat's called, or the ship's called. She is not happy to see Cooper. Cooper is her ex-boyfriend, and Cooper outranks her. And when Cooper's on the ship, that makes him captain. And she wants to be running things.
I got to say, that was an interaction that I was interested in, and I wanted to know more about those two characters and their previous relationship.
She moved out on him to pursue her career, and Cooper's pissed about it.
Well, sometimes strong women ruin weak men.
Yeah. And she's also upset with Cooper because Cooper lost one of his last ship because he made a judgment call and something bad happened. They didn't really dig into that too much, but she was very critical of that decision.
Yeah, and that happens a lot in this movie where you hear about something in passing and you're like, man, that sounds like it could be interesting, and they just never touch on it again.
It's like almost like you're watching a TV show on the Sci-Fi Channel and you jumped into it a little bit late.
It's something that we're going to cover in season 2, but then it got canceled.
Right, exactly.
Looking at you, Firefly.
Yeah, Firefly.
You little bitch.
Love that show.
Fuck that show. It's for bitches.
It's for bitches and people who like to cancel things.
Bitches and Fox
bitches
executives.
who can't complete things.
Yeah, bitches who can't complete things.
Who can't complete what they started.
Yeah. All right, we're going to end the episode here.
Yeah.
All right, great.
All right, so I'm done if you guys are.
No, I'm not, because you know what? My favorite line in the movie was where, what was her name?
Which one? Avedon or Sarah?
Avedon.
There are 2 women in this movie.
Avedon, Coop's ex. I am not trying to reduce her to that, but
You
that
just
was
did.
the interaction we just discussed, so
Yeah.
that was my frame of reference. Anyway, she had the best line in the movie, and it wasn't her fault, and it wasn't the writer's fault, because it was the censor's fault. She said the words, son of a bitch, and it was censored to say, son of a bug, while her lips very clearly still said bitch, and it was such a shining moment.
The ship is called the Armstrong, not the Livestrong.
Oh, yeah.
One of those is a cancer thing from Lance Armstrong
yeah.
who also
Wow,
is,
so close.
Yeah.
Juiced himself out of a reputation.
Yeah. Doped himself out of
A reputation.
and a Tour de France victory. Or
A bunch of them.
Yeah. You know
Anywho.
what? I don't talk sports very often, but frankly, people that dope or do steroids, there's still a lot of fucking work.
I don't give a fuck.
You got to do so much work to be at that level with or without steroids.
Lance is doing the same thing everybody else was doing, and maybe that's not okay,
With
but
one
they're just mad.
testicle.
It's not
at him.
okay when you get caught. It's
Yeah.
it's fine when you're
Yeah.
Mr. Victory.
If I was
so.
everybody else is watching and loving you and fucking loving your sports prowess and you're achieving something nobody else is able to achieve, it's totally fine.
I'm not suggesting everybody go out and abuse steroids, but if you want that competitive edge and you're an elite athlete, I'm not
Do
going to judge
steroids.
you for that.
Also, I have no idea what the fuck this ship was at first. At the beginning of this movie, I was
It
a little
looks like a
confused.
spaceship, but they
Right.
treat it like an airplane, but it has jets like a crazy ass sci-fi movie would have.
Giant turbines.
Duct taped roller coaster shoulder strap safety harnesses.
So you say harnesses. That's one thing I actually meant to point. We'll get there when we start meeting these other characters as they trickle onto the ship. Basically, there's like a drug addicted doctor, and then
there's Mr. Clean.
Mr. Clean, who his name is McLean, but they call him Clean for short throughout. Right?
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely. And Clean's kind of the ship's repairman.
Yeah.
Maintenance guy.
Yeah. Did you have more to add to that, or are you just gonna tell us that? Call it good.
That's about it.
Oh, okay. I thought you had a little more juice for me there.
To say
no
about
juice. So yeah, we find out that some of the was it just one that we find out is a spare. Right there at the
which
beginning,
is kind of a replicant.
Yeah, it's basically like a human grown for use to, or a human body essentially grown for use in harvesting their organs.
Yeah, and we don't find out that she is one, but this is very unsubtle. That's probably the person who is the spare.
Yeah, as far as beating you over the head with nuance goes, that's pretty much what they were doing.
There's like a radio announcement or something, some news broadcast announcement that said that 3D spares have escaped. They're basically replicants, that clones that people that they use for replacing organs and things. If something happens to you, you have to spare. They normally don't gain consciousness, but it's a little known fact that sometimes they do. I'm
not impressed with the future. What happened with like the good old fashioned roofie them and leave them in a bathtub full of ice while you take their kidneys?
I mean, yeah, it would have been a lot easier than their process.
You know,
exactly.
These things can think for themselves and have feelings, and you get some morality and
they kind of like programmed to want to give you their kidneys. It's a little creepy. But yeah, so this girl escaped. She's the one. There's a bounty for her, and they're talking about that. And the camera just stops on her and shows her going like, "Oh no, what if somebody finds out?" You know, so pretty much right. I knew right away.
It's beat up. Yeah, it's not subtle, as we said. Yeah. Then I've got to point this out. The ship takes off, and everybody gets like put in this harness. They sit down, and this harness comes down over their shoulders, and they're like strapped into this chair. It is the exact same harness for every single actor. They only have this one in this movie, and you can tell there's a stain on the wall, and it is identical in every shot. I looked. I was like, there's no way that they actually made more than one of those or bothered painting the set between them, and they did not. It was the same harness for every character they had to strap in. I loved it.
That's pretty awesome.
I would have at least, even on a cheap budget, I would have painted my walls to make it look a little different.
Right, put a picture up or something.
Yeah, hang something over the stains.
That's great.
Some LEDs or something. I don't know. Sci-fi movies love LEDs. Just put them somewhere.
The cockpit's pretty great because it's like they steer with the ergonomic keyboard. And
Can I say that you just said cockpit?
Oh yeah, cockpit. And it basically looks like they emptied out somebody's crazy uncle's basement and just took all the computer parts. Just
it was 1997 though. That stuff was all brand new.
I know, but we all had that shit in our basements. You know, it was all like 4 or 5 year old computer equipment at the time. Where
big blue plastic Rubbermaid tote full of the garbage that is on the cockpit of this airplane.
You know what? Throw it away. But it's been obsolete for 5 years at this
point. Just
point.
in case, I might need it. All right, so this thing takes off. What was their end game here? They were going just across the country somewhere to drop all these people off, right?
I couldn't figure it out. So the people were extra. I think they're like a mining ship or something. The people were extra, or a scavenging ship. The people were extra.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Yeah, they were.
He said, we make a little extra money with we got the itinerary. It's all figured out. Everything's above board. Let's go. And I don't know what their main mission was. They didn't really talk about it. Their main mission was aggravation and frustration with each other.
Yeah. It seemed like that was their primary objective, was just to be pissed off. So you get the impression from the interaction between Avedon and Coop that this is not maybe the nicest ship in the fleet. And it shows because it fucking crashes. One of the engines just decides to shit on them.
Two engines.
Two engines shits on them. That's right. That's right. 2 engines take a dump, and they crash in the middle of damn nowhere.
Perfectly wrong spot to crash into what is a giant bowl of Cocoa Puffs.
Cocoa Puffs.
Yeah. Made of earthquakes.
And a giant hole in the ground where an earthquake opens up, and now Ravager stuff.
Yeah, the CGI was so bad when that plane crashed. It couldn't have been nothing else but a giant bowl of Cocoa Puffs. It was just really bad CGI and like cartoon rocks flying through the air.
It was bad news. They crash. Everybody gets out to kind of, I guess, stretch their legs. I don't know. It's a big ship, but they're out of there.
Everything seemed pretty clean.
They leave for some reason.
Oh, because they need to get some material to fix the ship. There was like an ore they needed, and they have some scanners that could find it.
Okay.
Can
They
we
found
talk about how clean the set stayed, except for like 2 sparklers and a candle wick hanging from the ceiling?
I didn't notice that, but that's awesome.
They definitely didn't have a lot of money for them, so they took good care of the ones they had.
Yeah.
So some crew members get out and go looking for stuff. Like, who was it that got out?
It was Abaddon.
Abaddon and the
Clean.
Clean? Was
Yeah.
it Clean?
Yeah.
Okay. They get out and they're exploring, looking for this ore, and there's an earthquake.
Yeah.
And a hole opens up, and Clean falls down into this hole. It's Clean, right? Clean that falls in there?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Clean is our first victim.
And we see the tanks of Ravager. And one of them he gets cut, and then the tank explodes, right? Or there's
what
a tank
happens
open
is
already
when the ship does crash, Clean gets a piece of shrapnel in his arm,
in his arm.
and it's really gross. He pulls it out really slow, and it's kind of obvious. This movie has a lot of foreshadowing. You're like, oh, something's gonna happen with that arm.
Well, can I just say, for a movie where they don't let them say "son of a bitch," there's a lot of gore.
Oh yeah, welcome to America.
Yeah.
America! Happy 4th of July. That's when we're recording this.
Oh, that's right. It is 4th of
It is
July
the-
today.
The
Happy
Independence
America Day.
Yeah, Happy American Day.
Yeah.
Happy freedom.
Great job,
We're
everybody.
like a big island with burgers and wrap.
Like, America's had some fuck ups, but this one's
Some
not too
toothpaste for dinner.
bad.
That's not mine.
There are worse countries to live in.
So when he does fall in, what's funny about that is these canisters have sat on the wall for 30 years. I mean, you don't see any on the
In
ground.
Earthquake Town.
There's no in a seismic area. You see no other canisters on the ground, no other broken canisters, nothing. But when Clean falls in there, just in time for one of them to fall off during the next earthquake, for it to hit the ground, for it to start spraying biohazard material all over him and right into his cut arm.
You know what? The process that they had in 2004 was security for 30 years.
Right.
They happened to get there just the wrong time. That's on them.
Yeah, it was
They did their job in 2004.
like their ship happened to cut out and crash at just the wrong time and just the wrong day in just the wrong place.
And poor Clean gets this stuff all in his wound.
Oh, it turns his arm to jelly.
Yeah, it just it's super gross.
It's all bubbly
It's like
and sick.
it's like when you pour hydrogen peroxide on your wound times like 1,000,000.
It's like a cherry icy. It's
Yeah.
gross.
It kind of looks good now.
Yeah, like a Slurpee.
I would drink that. Will Clean be okay? What does this mean for the rest of the crew of the Armstrong? I'm going to put a break in this show like the break in Cooper's arm. We'll be back in just a couple minutes.
Cooper's arm is fine. It's Clean's arm.
I'm going to put a break in Richard like the break that we're going to put on right now for our show.
That doesn't make any sense.
Show's over.
You're over.
I had to watch the thing 3 times before I could even begin to understand what it was that she was saying. See, I know that things weren't perfect between us, you know. And we had problems, and, But the thing is that she didn't even have the courage or the decency to tell me to my face. She just walks out.
Isn't she free to choose?
Free. Is she free to choose? Is that what you think? What about the marriage? Can't she choose to stay in the marriage?
All right, we're back again with more on Ravager. But first, we got to talk about some beer.
Some beer.
These didn't come from the flicks.
No, you
4th
know,
of
Came
July,
from
it's-
our
it's-
honeybee market in Mexican Town.
I'm not sure if Flicks is open or closed.
it was open.
It
but
was
I worried
open.
I was worried it wasn't going to
Okay,
be. Yeah.
we should have gone in.
It was
anyway.
busy.
Oh, was it? Oh, I'm sure it was
There's
busy.
5 or 6 cars in the parking
Yeah.
lot. For Flicks, that's a lot because they want to help everybody.
So this week we have 2 different beers that we were gonna talk about. One I want to talk much less about than the other. It was by Latitude 42, I think is the brewery, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
And it was just called Nectar of the Goddess. Is that right?
Blood orange, passion fruit, honey wheat ale.
Yep, you had it right
Yeah.
there. Nectar of a Goddess.
Yeah. It didn't taste good.
No.
Nah.
I don't even want to describe it. It was unpleasant. I opened it, I took a drink, and I was really depressed.
I didn't mind it.
I like the art on it, and I've been
Oh, the
kinda,
can
like,
is great.
saving it for a while because I thought it was so cool.
It is
but
a cool can.
man, it's like a bad soft parade.
I didn't mind it, but yeah, it did feel like it did taste kind of like a broke ass soft parade.
It was not a pleasant beer. I didn't finish it.
I'm sorry, Latitude 42.
Like,
I
I've
know
drank-
there's something else of yours that I like. I don't know what it is. but I
I'm
know
sure
I've had it.
Latitude 42 has some good beer somewhere, but this one's not for me.
They won't be in the show notes. We don't. The beer we actually picked for this one was Stone Tangerine Express IPA. I don't really have a reason for picking it other than I want to drink it.
He wanted to drink it,
Everything
and
at
he gave
Honeybee,
us some
we've already
tenuous
had.
links earlier
all
before the
bullshit.
show.
It was
It
all
was
bullshit.
just he wanted to drink this one.
There
And
were
he's had it
rocks in the
before. He knows he
movie.
likes it.
Yeah, but yeah, it's a good beer.
Yeah, this one. I mean, this one's 6.7%.
Yeah,
It tastes a lot like drinking a carbonated grapefruit.
has pineapple and tangerine in it. So-
I did not get either of those from it, but that's okay because most of the time beer, anytime they describe what's in it, I'm just like, yeah, okay, sure.
soft notes of flowery.
Soft notes of
chocolate.
spices. Some sort of spice in this. You're going to love it.
You got to breathe it in. And you're not going to taste the whole thing.
You got to let this one aerate. Use a snifter. No, man.
No.
I just want to drink a beer.
This one's delicious. I
This
love
one's
this
good.
beer.
Yeah, no, I was a fan.
You can see this one in the show notes.
I will drink this again probably at some point
What'd
in
you
my
think of
life.
this beer, Liz?
Yeah, Stone. This is good. I like it better than the Amarillo Hero I'm drinking now from an old episode.
Oh, I
trying
like the
to avoid
Amarillo
the,
Hero.
I don't know. I'm not feeling it tonight.
All right.
God,
That's
Liz.
me all
you
the
don't want
time.
to. If you want to be here, just go.
Wow.
Just go.
So let's get back to the movie here. We did
Pardon the
digress
fireworks.
a little bit
It's the
there.
4th
There's-
of July.
There's 4th of July. So if you heard that firework in the background, that's because of that. And if you heard the paper crinkling, that's because of Liz.
Hello, my name is Liz.
Make that into a rap song. Can you do that, Richard? Make it a rap song. Use that as the hook. Yeah. So clean is not doing as well as we'd hoped.
No.
We were really looking forward to Clean making a full recovery.
A clean
and
comeback.
a clean comeback. Whatever that's. Is that that's not a turn of phrase.
No,
You're just
it's
like
not.
making that up.
No. It could be, though.
Yeah, these things happen. This movie's really generic. It does do so. It handles the suspense pretty well for us for a little bit. Where Clean is they bring him back. His goop is gooping out of his goop hole.
Yeah.
It's
His
goopy
Gwyneth
and it's
Paltrow.
rough. And his body temperature is like super elevated. The doctor's like, well, he is fucked. Is pretty much the only thing he can really say.
He's a spongy, sweaty mess. And the doctor's a drug addict, so the doctor is fucking always
Yeah.
like 6
He's-
sheets in a win anyway.
He's either on drugs or coming down from drugs. Either way, he's useless.
Yeah, he's pretty useless.
He's not functional as a doctor.
And you know he's non-functional as a doctor because even though the first thing they told him when they brought Clean back was, yeah, we found these biohazard containers and he touched one and exploded and now he's all fucked up. Instead of putting on gloves
He's
or
just-
anything like
yeah.
that, he just starts handling them.
Yeah.
He goes, don't worry, he's probably not airborne. What the fuck?
If it were airborne, the other two would have had something because they were all
Yeah.
They're
yeah
all in there.
yeah.
But then
They
after
would've-
everybody touched this guy and everybody was around him, the entire crew, all the passengers,
He's bleeding from every orifice.
right,
they put him in
Like,
quarantine.
If you had a small like split on your, my hands always have a scab on them.
Right.
All it takes is that whatever orange or
Presumably, right?
cherry icy coming out of his body to get on my tiny little cut, and then I've got the problem.
Presumably, but then they put him in quarantine after everybody gets to meet him.
Right.
Right. He's like, hey, check out the sick
Dude,
guy.
do you know what? When somebody brings a sick dude onto the ship, and then you bitch about how he exposed all of us to him, it's because you fucking followed him to the doctor's office and locked yourself in there with him.
Nobody
Don't be
asked
a-
you.
Yeah,
Crowded
seriously.
around him.
I don't remember what the character's name. All he did
Lazarus.
was Lazarus. He just bitched about it. Well, you brought him in, you exposed all of us. If you hadn't chased him down the damn hallway with your little rubbernecking, you wouldn't have been at risk at all.
Yeah, this one Cooper shows a little bit of emotion, and he's just like, "Fuck you, man."
Yeah,
That's
he
like the only
doesn't
time I
say
see
fuck you,
Cooper,
man,
like,
because there's no
upset.
swears.
Yeah, Lazarus is the dick. That he's the dick. Every one of these movies has the dick, right? Has the asshole.
Yeah.
Lazarus is the asshole in this movie. You figure it out. He's the irredeemable asshole. But they don't really dig into his character at all. My biggest disappointment was that they didn't really dig into Lazarus as a character.
They
You
didn't dig
learned
into
nothing
the
about
canon
him.
of the story at all.
Yeah, anything that looked like something that was interesting did not get any attention in this movie. That was the biggest problem with it.
You
as far
also
as I
meet
was
No
concerned.
Name and Sarah. No Name gets a name later, but you're gonna learn his name the same rate in which we learned his name.
Right.
He's No Name for now. He's No
So
Name.
McLean Clean is
He's sick.
it's looking bad. He's in a coma, and
Not
they
looking
lock him in a room, and they're just like, "Well, there's nothing we can do because I don't have a medical facility.
And I'm high.
Also, I'm on drugs." he gets locked up, and then they start talking about, figuring out how to get off there, and hey, maybe we should check out what this biohazard crap is, the Ravager containers, see if we can maybe figure out what's wrong with Clean.
Plus, we still need the minerals to fix this ship.
And they still
Clean
need
is
to
the only
get
person who can fix a ship, so we're doubly fucked. But let's just go through the motions.
They're pretty fucked.
Yeah. So they go. Avedon. Is that how you say her name? Avedon.
I don't know.
We didn't hear it hardly.
No, nobody said
all,
it. Nobody ever said it.
Yeah, the names don't really
There's
get
no way
conveyed
to
very
tell.
often in this movie.
Right.
Coop does.
Cooper.
Say Coop all the damn
Yo,
time.
Coop. Clean.
Yo, Coop.
Clean.
Coop. Yep.
Hey, Clean. Where's Clean?
Clean's got control of the ship.
Clean.
It's just
Yeah. So
Coop and Clean.
no, but Avedon takes a doctor to go look for minerals, and the doctor's going to go check out the biohazard stuff. But they brought no equipment, not even gloves with them, which is crazy.
Well, why would they need gloves? Because it's just stuff that will spread from contact.
Yeah.
Oh, is that why they need gloves? Never mind. I just talked my way through it. They're dumb.
But we also find out. We also find out at this point that Sarah is a replicant. She admits it to No Name. That's not his name.
Okay, well, also I like that part because he's like talking to the girl about how she's a spare or a replicant or whatever, and he's like, "Your secret is safe with me," at full volume in front of all of their friends.
Yeah, the guy is close enough that like somebody just goes, "Hey man, we're getting ready to go."
Like right after that line.
Yeah, it's like we all know. We're not. It's not really our concern right now.
Right.
Did you see Clean? He's fucked. That's what we're worried about right now.
Yeah. And when does Clean break out of the
Right about now.
the room?
So when they leave to go look at the biohazard containers,
Suddenly we hear the most obnoxious alarm ever created, which is awesome. Alarms should be obnoxious so that you want nothing more than to turn it off rather than figure out what the problem is.
Yeah.
And the airlock has been
all my
breached.
smoke detectors at my house just take the batteries out once they start beeping.
You could just bring one up the ladder with you when you go take out the old battery.
They'll just beep again.
This obnoxious that's just going to beep in 2 years anyway. The alarm starts going off and they're like, "Oh fuck." And they go look where Clean was. Clean's fucking gone.
He developed super strength. He ripped that fucking door right out
the glass in the door is completely destroyed. And it looked like there was some damage to the actual metal around the door too. Clean is
Party.
So they're like, "Hey, computer scan for body heat or whatever." And the computer's like, "Sure, but it's not going to be accurate at all apparently because it's so hot in here."
Yeah, and Clean's too hot now. He's like outside hot.
Yeah, Clean is pumping out heat way hotter than human heat should heat.
Lots of Fahrenheit's coming out.
So many Fahrenheits.
Yeah.
Which they still use in 2034.
Well,
because
we
America
haven't stopped yet.
Let's never give in to Celsius and metric systems.
Fuck the Canadians.
Fucking Canucks. It's just Canadians. They're the only ones that use Celsius and metric, right? No other country in the world. This actually is where they start building some neat tension.
Right.
Because now Clean is out there.
And everybody's trying to find him.
They're trying to find, and there are some pretty scary moments with Clean. He's just like smashing faces into stuff and then running away. Clean was pretty scary.
All the lights are flickering because Clean knows how to fuck with things in the
so
ship.
the power's all fucked up on the ship. They have to get up and get the solar panel stuff working. Mm-hmm. They do finally get that going, but it's still not enough to fully juice the ship. That's when Clean escaped.
Well, Clean escaped a little bit before that.
He escaped right when they got that all working.
Oh yeah, you're right. Then they went looking for him, and that's when they split up.
Yeah. And then Clean is just a murdering machine now.
No, because like while they're looking for him, and they get the power back on, a little bit of limited power. That's when the door closes on No Name.
Oh yeah.
And I love that because so they're wandering around, they're trying to find Clean. They still think he might be in the ship somewhere. The power kicks back on short a little bit as they're walking through in the corridors. I'm assuming Clean made this happen because he's like the ship mechanic.
Yeah.
So this is where you find out like that No Name is actually named Cade, and he's walking through a doorway. The door is one of those metal heavy doors that are supposed to seal shut in a spaceship. The door closes on Cade, but it closes really slow. It's supposed to look like it's crushing him. Opening that door is like me coming over and trying to help you move some furniture in your house. It's like one guy got on one side of the door, the other guy. He's like, one.
You got to pivot.
1, 2. Hey, hold on. Are you even holding your end? Greg, are you even holding your end? Are you holding
pivot on 3.
Are you going to pivot or are you going to pivot left or right? Clockwise?
Just follow my lead and pivot.
Wait, hold on. Let me move my hands.
Don't scratch my wall.
Let me move my hands. Are you holding from the top or the bottom?
Why did you drop it?
I just set it down for a second to move my hands.
So that's pretty much that door opening sequence in a nutshell.
And he gets to the
ground,
ground, starts rolling
fine.
around.
They tell him to push, he pushes, he's out.
Cade's out. He's out. He's done.
So real quick, You've got a note at like an hour and 3 minutes that's the first death.
No. It's not him. It's a little bit later on.
An hour and 6 minutes. I'm looking right at it. Clean makes it into the ship and injects Dr. Shepard with the virus. That's the first death?
Yeah.
What about the guy that Clean fucking shoved into the glass? Did he not die?
He didn't die.
Oh, I thought he died.
No, nobody else is dead.
Nobody else dies.
This movie has gone probably the longest we've ever gone without anybody dying.
Man, over an hour, no deaths. And this movie's only like an hour and a half long.
Yeah.
All right, so an hour in, we get our first death. Really, like, I would like to talk more about this movie, but it is just...
No, the other things...
It's generic.
The other notes I have in here, Sarah gets a bunch of flashbacks about her being a replicant, and we get to watch her cry for 3 minutes.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, she whines about being a replicant. She's like, I want to be human so bad, guys.
I want to be a real boy.
Can I be a human, please?
America, where you can say "son of a bug" on TV, but can fully visually demonstrate chopping someone in the back with an axe.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. That was pretty good too.
Yeah, that's a little bit later too, but yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, so what happens? Clean comes back to the ship, right? And he wants to take off and bring the Ravager virus to the rest of the country. He needs to give that gift.
But like he does do that, and when he comes back to the ship, he does take care of the doctor, who's figured out that the Ravager virus eats blood cells.
Yeah, it eats
that's what
blood.
it does.
Right.
And
the lymph nodes start eating blood cells.
So when he figures this out, that's when Clean sneaks in, because nobody's guarding this fucking ship. Clean's already stolen Lazarus away.
Yeah.
He took Lazarus with him. That's the guy who smashed into the window. He lives.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, he lives because he comes back and starts fighting the other two right before they're trying to make their escape.
Lazarus. Yeah, he comes back.
Of course he comes back.
He took Lazarus away, and
let's beat you over the head with some imagery before we beat you over the head.
You don't hear from Lazarus again for a while because you
assume he's dead.
You want you to forget about him, yeah. And then, but he goes to the doctor. And he gets the doctor the virus by using the doctor's automatic pneumatic syringe to pull blood out of him and pump it in the doctor's neck, which is fucking gross.
Yeah,
that was like the most disturbing scene to me. I was like, oh,
it's kind of gross.
Why was there somebody watching the doors? Yeah. How come later on the door's locked, but it's not locked now?
Yeah, there's a lot of that in this movie.
I just assume Clean can get through things.
Yeah, Clean is the ship's mechanic. He's got his stuff to.
They should have known that, and as a crew of people who want to live, banded together.
But they didn't really know.
They didn't really want to live.
Like, they were basically assuming that Clean was no longer clean.
Yeah.
So maybe his brain was not. It was just his brain was just along for the ride and not actually helpful to the Ravager serum.
And at first, they didn't even know he was a danger. How would they have known?
Well, because he shoved somebody's face into the glass and dragged them off into the woods.
That was when they should have known.
At that moment, they're like, okay, so Clean is pissed, and he's coming for at least Lazarus.
At least Lazarus, because fuck that guy.
Yeah, I mean, we didn't like Lazarus anyway, so maybe it's just
that's the first guy I would eat too.
he had a gambling debt with him. Maybe we're good.
Nobody
we don't need
Lazarus.
to worry about. We don't need to worry about Clean.
Lazarus was a dick to everybody in this movie. The first 3 minutes, seconds he was in the room. With
he pretty much burned every bridge that he could possibly have had.
But the doctor does die because Avedon and Cooper go check on him because his temperature's going up, and the ship monitors the crew members. So when they go to check on him, he opens the door and he's all sweaty and spongy, and he injects him. He overdoses himself with the drug.
Oh, okay. He killed himself.
I didn't know if he was dead because everybody comes back in this movie.
Yeah.
But he doesn't come back. So at the end of the movie, I had to go back in my notes and be like, first death. This right here.
All right.
So that's our first death.
Good to know. They've got to repair the ship. They've got what they need to get this thing up and running and flying and get the fuck out of Dodge. So we've got Coop and Avedon are outside repairing it, right?
Yeah.
They're getting their shit all in there and getting all their beeps booping, and then they see some greens and they're like, oh, fuck. Clean's on there, and he's got control of the ship.
Well, Clean's trying to get control of the ship, and, mark off your disaster movie bingo card. He hacks the ship.
He did hack the ship. He's trying to fly it, and they're like, I'm sorry, we can't fly without captain authorization. And he busts out the override 00075. Starts just guessing numbers. And eventually he gets the right one, which was 00095. I'm thinking that maybe it was the override number is something he was aware of as Clean, but as Virus Clean, it was a struggle to recall.
Maybe him and Avedon also have a long relationship.
Yeah,
it goes back. You could tell they have like kind of a brother sister type relationship.
Sure.
So maybe it's like her birthday or something. But it was pretty funny how he did it. It was.
I mean, I don't know how 00095 is a birthday, but sure.
Dude, it's the future. Who the fuck knows?
Yeah, they just make up new dates.
They were just making up all sorts of weird shit. They're still using ergonomic keyboards for Windows 95,
right.
So I don't know. That part made me laugh a lot because he's just like, what about 00063?
He just throws some numbers out there, and
He
eventually
beats it by 1-0-0-0-0-6-5.
now we have Avedon and Coop trying to get back in the ship, and boom, Lazarus shows up, and they start fighting.
Motherfucker!
And they fight, eventually get back on. The ship takes off, and fucking Lazarus just gets torched to shit.
He gets cooked.
The jets just wreck his entire life.
I almost clapped.
Very
I was
sad.
so excited.
I was so excited when he died.
I was so excited.
That motherfucker.
I thought he was the first death. I wanted him to be the first death.
It would have been so
I
much
wanted
better. That was the first and only second death of the movie.
Yeah. It was the second one. It should have been the first one. It should have been it. That
Damn
should've-
shame. Lazarus should have gone
Fuck
first.
Lazarus. I just want to go back for a second.
Yeah.
After
What happened to Cade that was so important?
Well, it is kind of important. After Clean took care of the doctor, he went after Cade. Sarah got Cooper and Avedon to come and intervene.
Okay.
And it was too late, I guess, because they never really showed what happened to Cade.
Oh, that's
after
right.
that.
Because Sarah went off
Yeah.
to do something, and for some reason they didn't even know that Sarah was alive anymore when they were trying to get the ship up and running.
Yeah, because Sarah was hanging out with Cade.
Yeah.
And she was really upset that she couldn't give Cade her organs because that's her purpose.
Right.
Is to give up her body. And Cade was fucked. He had all this internal bleeding and shit. You could tell that he was just dying on this slab.
Right.
And then she just disappears after she gets everybody to help him. And nobody even talks about what happens to Cade. Cade just falls off the fucking map. But then he shows up again later on. He jumps from the ceiling after the ship takes off and attacks one of them.
Right.
That's when Liz was talking earlier about the
Sarah
axe.
drops in and just fucking hatchets him in the spine.
Yeah. And then he goes out the door, and Sarah's really upset because she killed a person, and that's against her prime directive. It's some bullshit. There's some Cade canon. Cade's wife broke up with him on Skype.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, he had the vid mail. She told me
VidMail,
to
the
check my
logical
vid
next
mail.
step to voicemail.
She left a note to check my vid mail. Was I think the quote?
Yeah,
and
it was.
that was the divorce.
He got dumped on Skype. It was not even Skype.
He mentioned it
They
to Sarah,
couldn't
and
have
Sarah
even
was like,
predicted texting.
"Did she not have the choice? Was she not allowed to make that choice for herself?" And he was pissed.
Right, but that was Cade's backstory. We get more Cade backstory than most people in this movie, but Cade makes it out the airlock. Greg loves airlock deaths.
Airlock deaths are so great.
That's more like an airplane, like airlock death, but still.
It's weird that an airplane has an airlock, but I'm fine with it.
You know what I mean? The door. It's
No. They had an actual airlock.
Oh yeah.
There was a little double door section in
I
one
guess
of
you're
those.
right. They did have an airlock. Yeah.
Yeah. So we go Doctor, then Lazarus, then Cade.
Yep.
Successes. So now we have Sarah, Avedon, Coop, and Clean are
and
alive.
at this point, Cooper's rubbing blood off his head, and it looks like he has a cut. It looks like he got some of the infected blood in his cut. But they don't really.
They
talk
don't do
about
anything
that.
else with that.
No, but
they
he does
never do
sacrifice
anything
himself
else with it.
because this is when Clean comes back and Clean starts fighting them.
Yeah.
And Cooper's actually got some martial arts skills. He's beaten up Clean a few times already. He wore the shit out of that V-neck shirt too. That was his whole purpose in his movie was to put on that deep V.
Wear the deep V. Yep.
So he goes, you know what? I'm already infected. I'm not going to tell anybody because I want to go down as a selfless hero. So
He did die, right?
Yeah, he kept Clean busy, and Clean beat the shit out of him because Clean has superpowers, and
They take an escape pod.
yeah, but the Avedon and Sarah get an escape pod, and Sarah's like, I'm a replicant. They're gonna know that I'm a replicant because I have a fucking barcode on my neck.
Yeah.
Well, they said there's only room for 2, and there were 3 of them, and there was this whole thing.
But none of it mattered. I feel like.
No.
Are you on the same page with me?
Well,
on
the
that,
doctor
Liz?
cut his hand when we left it out because it was so inconsequential. It had no purpose. But they went and got some of that biohazard material, some of the Ravager, and they brought it back to the ship because that's smart. And the doctor cut his hand on the container. Nothing happened with that. And it showed his hand 2 other times. And Avedon was like, "Doctor, are you okay with your hand?"
No, it looks like I'm good.
But they had to get they got an escape shuttle, and so Sarah and Avedon live. I think Sarah's considering killing Avedon at the end. I don't know, but it kind of seemed that way.
So
They never discussed.
They get
Cooper
whisked
being
away in the beautiful shuttle,
It was
and
wonderful.
two people managed to survive out of the initial little haul of humans.
Very alien.
We'll go to the break. When we get back, we'll talk about the final thoughts. We have our 2 survivors. We've made it all the way through this whopping hour-and-a-half long movie. And we'll catch you after the break here. There, fellers.
My destiny, now more than ever, is shrouded in uncertainty. Will it be swallowed up in the mouth of apathy, or embraced by the arms of compassion? Who am I? What am I? I no longer exist as a spare. But do I belong to the human race?
And we're back from our little breather there. I hope everybody's well rested after their journey on the emergency escape pod that only had enough life support for 2 people, even though they're within the atmosphere of the fucking planet.
And one of them's a robot.
And one of them, she's not a robot. She's a spare.
Kind of.
She's just got extra body parts, just ready to donate to
They're in
other
a
people.
shitty version of the atmosphere of the
Seriously,
planet, though.
it doesn't fucking matter. They're outside walking around without spacesuits all the damn time.
I don't understand.
Life support would not have mattered for about 2 seconds.
Got rags over their mouths. That's life support enough.
Yeah.
I think they were going to be in space and they weren't.
Yeah,
in space.
there was some stuff here going on in the back end that we were not made aware of.
Right, that was a confusing part. Like, who cares if it has life support?
Is that supposed to be a toxic atmosphere? Don't know. Everybody's walking around anyway, so.
Oh, fuck it.
Yep, exactly. Fuck it. I was like, why does it matter that there's no life support? Because you're on Earth. And apparently, for some reason, it had to matter. But it didn't, because only 2 people got on it anyway.
It didn't matter to me.
Yeah. We are going to throw to our final thoughts then. We'll go through and do the needful. We'll do the needful.
The
here.
needful.
Kindly do the needful. Kindly perform the needful.
So,
Richard.
The Richter scale, huh?
Richard. Why don't you tell us what you thought? Give us some of your biz.
Like, there's definitely problems with this movie. There's plot holes. There's some bad acting, but it has charm. It has some energy, and it flowed really well, even considering the fact that there are plot holes along that flow. It didn't punish me with another hour and a half of sharks, so that was nice.
God, could you imagine if Ravager was actually sharks in containers?
Oh my God, this is one example of a movie that would have suffered had it have been a longer cut. But it being a short cut really kind of brought it together. I thought it was nice and fast, and it moved really quickly. I enjoyed it. I'm going to say I enjoyed it more than I'm going to rate it, because I think I just enjoyed it because it wasn't as punishing as Armageddon or USS Indianapolis. I give this one a 4.7 on the Richter scale.
4.7, that's it? Didn't you? You just said you enjoyed it.
It's a pretty terrible movie.
4.7 is not, I enjoyed it, but I had to watch this.
Yeah, well, I did. I would never watch this on my own. It's a pretty bad movie. I just enjoyed it more than
you are about
the last
to.
two.
Your scale is about to get exploded by my rating when I do mine.
All right.
So just wait.
All right, I'm ready for your explosion, Liz.
I'm sorry, you're not gonna like this either, but it was like a 4 for me.
What did you have to say about it? Anything in particular that stood out or didn't stand out?
There was so much they could have done that would have been cool. Like, there were so many cool aspects that were just off to the side that just weren't explored. And maybe if it was a longer cut, it would have been a big pain in the ass if they actually tried to explore that stuff. But those side stories could have made the whole thing a lot more interesting, I think. And they just glossed over most of it.
All right.
So 4 for me. It was fine to watch, but I wouldn't watch it again. And I wouldn't have gone out of my way to watch it in the first place.
All right, fair enough. I definitely would not have sought this movie out. Would not have known it existed had you not recommended it.
And would have gave up looking for it
thank
immediately.
Thank you for making us watch this. Yeah, like Liz said, there's a lot of stuff, a lot of stones left unturned, so to speak. There were like the concept of spares would have been really interesting had they explored it. The characters' backstories would have been nice. I wanted to know more about Coop and Avedon's relationship. There was a lot I wanted to know why the Ravager program existed. That would have been great.
Right.
Give me some examples of the Ravagers before
practical
accidentally running. Exactly. Before it's accidentally encountered 30 years after the fact.
Super soldier serum.
And that would have been great to know, but you're speculating.
I am sorry. Go ahead.
I want to know more about everything. And I didn't think that the acting was entirely terrible. And for a 1997 movie that was made on what appears to be a very small budget, the CG was sufficient. It told the story it needed to tell. Or it was allowed to tell, I guess, because it didn't tell the story it needed to tell. There were plot holes. There were problems. I'm still giving this movie like a 6.3 on the Gregter scale.
Oh, boy.
That's way up there. I legit, like I sat down and started watching this, and I was expecting to be completely bored and angry with it.
Yeah.
Instead, I felt like I was a teenager being forced to sit through the garbage on Sci-Fi Channel my mom wanted to watch. She would just watch all the sci-fi stuff. This was it was filler. It was generic sci-fi filler between episodes of stuff like that
X-Files.
they actually had allowed on their channel at that point.
Tarnation.
All in all, not the worst movie I've had to sit through. Not the worst movie I've had to sit through for this podcast, and not the worst movie that I've ever seen on Sci-Fi as far as that's concerned. That'll kind of be the end of the podcast here, I think. So thanks for listening for another episode of What a Disaster.
Oh boy.
We are going to be back next week.
Yeah.
Right? Are we back next week?
I have nothing to
Are you
do.
back next week?
Yeah.
Are you
I
back
don't have
next
plans.
week? All right, we don't have plans except for this. So
Yeah.
we'll be back next week. In the meantime, you can feel free to check out our show notes. We have those are on the website,
Yes.
I'm assuming, which is whatadisasterpod.com. You can check us out on the Twitter at podwad. Yeah, podwad?
Yeah,
It's not Wad Pod,
podwad.com.
it's podwad. We had to reverse it because somebody already had wad pod.
Yeah.
You sons of bitches. We're on the Facebook, What a Disaster. You can find us there. We're on Instagram as What a Disaster Pod.
Check out our friends, every horror movie on Netflix. Glad Greg's gonna be on that show.
Oh, yeah,
he's-
I'll be on
He's
there.
on a
I
show
don't-
about 3 or 4 times. What's the episode you're doing with that, Greg? 'Cause
This
that should be out.
This one,
by the time
I
this is
think, is
out.
coming out soon. By the time this is out, it's already out. Yeah,
So
absolutely.
go back and check it out.
So yeah, it was the Don't Kill It starring Dolph Lundgren.
You guys had a blast, right?
I gave that one a view it for sure. We had a lot of fun with that episode. I had a lot of fun with that movie.
What are you giving the Gregster scale real quick?
We don't do the Gregter scale there, but if I had to give it, it would also be probably like a 6.5, 6.5 or so.
So check that out. It's on Netflix. Listen to Greg's and then go back listen to Greg's podcast and at Emoncast on Twitter. They're a great little podcast.
That's EHMON
Cast.
cast.
All right.
So don't forget to subscribe
No,
to our
don't do
stuff.
it.
Like, if
Subscribe, please.
You want to RSS us? That's fine. You
Write
want to
us
go to the Google?
reviews.
You can Google. You
I
want
check
to go to the
reviews all the time.
iTunes?
I'm always hoping somebody will say nice or mean things. about
Please
us.
say something about us. I don't care if it's
Anything.
nice or not. I mean, nice is good, but give us some feedback. If you want to be critical without giving us a review, you can shoot us a text or call us at 209-781-9113. 209-781-9113.
13.
Nice try there, Richard. So thanks very much.
I quit the band.
For What a Disaster, I'm Gregory. This is
Marsha.
and
Elizabeth.
and we are out of here. There will be glory. Are we recording?
I am now, yeah. I hit this hit record.
Right before I said there will be glory?
Yeah.
Okay, well, there's glory then. Dude, you just got to tighten it more. You got little baby hands? You can't snug?
No, I pulled this thing in.
You got little fucking
the lever. It's a
wuss fingers? Is that the problem? You need me to come over there and give you man hands?
I do. I need you to manhand me, please.
Give you 2 man hands.
We're back. Look at these forearms.
I know. Let me touch them. Let me touch the veins. Is this where you put the drugs?
I have many choices for where I put the drugs.
Yeah, you do. All right, it works.
Usually I shoot for the urethra.
Yeah, you want to just mainline that, right?
I don't think urethras are mainlining, but sure.
Right up the main drain.
Right up the main drain.